Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome, and thank you so much for attending this exciting event today. My name is Molly Krukenberg, and I'm the director of the Montana Historical Society. We'd like to begin this afternoon by asking Steve Lozar, Montana Historical Society trustee and member of the Confederated Salish and Kootenai tribes, to provide a blessing for us.
Hesquext, Kisukukit. I get to see a lot of my old friends here, and I'm honored, way in my spoos, way into my heart. So it was an important day when we broke ground out here, and it seems like almost a miracle that here we are back in this place, because this is holy ground to us and has been for countless generations. So Kylie Kotichimatki Quete, Ask Sem Chetlam, Cool Still Teaches Thesis Pools, Aston Telskis Kriels Hietse, Kotichimasket. I was self yet for cookers a absent. How could we were looking Pilk to Shield? Cake is them today, cake is them today, cake is them today. Come here to Hespoos, good hearts.
Thank you so much, Steve. Surrounding us, you can see the Montana Heritage Center taking shape, featuring world-class exhibits that inspire visitors to explore our past. The Heritage Center will be a community space that encourages conversations between generations. It will be a place where visitors explore the landscapes and the people that call Montana home. It will share the stories of all Montanans to provide meaning for today and vision for tomorrow. When we began actively working on this project over 3 years ago, we anticipated raising $10 million in private funds to support the construction of the Montana Heritage Center. But recognizing the opportunity before us, we were challenged to think bigger. Thanks to your generosity and the vision of Governor Gianforte, we have far surpassed that initial fundraising goal, allowing us to fill the space around us with exciting, engaging, and immersive exhibits. On behalf of the staff and the trustees of the Montana Historical Society, I am grateful beyond measure for your investment in Montana's past and our future. Now, it gives me great pleasure to introduce Governor Greg Gianforte, 25th Governor of this great state of Montana. Please join me in welcoming Governor Gianforte.
Thank you, Molly, and thank you all for being here today. Molly, I particularly want to thank you for your leadership in bringing this whole facility into focus and getting us to this day. We're really grateful for your leadership. I also want to thank Ginny Sullivan. Your work, really with all the people in this room, really brought the resources together, and we just appreciate the collaboration. It's great to be here with all of you. Thank you for coming out. Friends old and new in this new Montana Heritage Center. It's really exciting. As we stand here today, I'm really overwhelmed by the generosity of Montanans and friends of our great state. This facility was completed and enhanced with private donations. You are the philanthropists and visionaries who have helped make this project happen and bring it to life. I specifically want to thank those who committed $1 million to this project, the Barrick Gold Corporation, Thomas Nygaard and Sons. Thomas is with us today. Tim and Carmen Sheehy. Tim is with us today. Westmoreland. The Arthur M. Blank Foundation committed $1.4 million to this project. BNSF Railway for its $5 million gift. Norm Asbjornsen for his $10.4 million gift. And with us today up front, Dennis and Phyllis Washington for their commitment of $25 million to this project. Thank you so much. To each of these folks and so many more, thank you for opening up your hearts and your wallets to make this project, bring it to fruition. This building, is going to be home to a world-class museum with interactive media and immersive experiences. Many of the exhibits, and this is the challenge we got from Dennis to kind of raise our thinking somewhat. So we added $19 million of enhancements to this exhibit with adding world-class production. We got Netflix involved, we got Paramount Pictures involved to really upscale these exhibits. This facility will showcase all of Montana, from our prairies and mountains to the tribes who have long called Montana home, to the industries that have shaped our state, like farming and ranching and mining, to our rich and vibrant culture that we surround ourselves with today. To be sure, the Montana Heritage Center promises to be one of the finest institutions of its kind in the nation. Just as an example, if you have a second, I think, are people allowed to wander down in here afterwards? Yeah, so there's a short video playing. One of the exhibits that we worked with these producers on is an elevator mine shaft ride. It simulates a mine shaft in Butte. Literally, you get in, it rattles, and the wind blows, and the movie footage is actual footage from underground in Butte. You literally go down into the mine, and you experience what it was like to work underground. That's one of just some phenomenal exhibits we're going to have. As Molly said, the original private fundraising goal for this project was $10 million, but we wanted to do more. And you folks were so generous. Soon, we raised our goal to $30 million. But what would it really take to build a world-class facility? We kept being challenged to think bigger, to make the Montana Heritage Center really exceptional. So we went back to the drawing board, and we dreamed bigger. We partnered with all of you to make this project, take this project to the next level. And soon, thanks to your generosity, we reached almost an unbelievable total through your philosophy. So Molly, would you mind coming and helping me do the big reveal? You want to take one side and I'll take the other? 1, 2, 3. Through your generosity, the building is completely paid for, and all of these enhanced exhibits are completely paid for. On behalf of a very grateful state, thank you. Paul.
Thank you, Governor, and thank you to all of you for your support. We are pleased to have with us today Dennis and Phyllis Washington. Dennis Washington is the founder of the Washington Companies, a dynamic group of privately held companies. A self-made industry leader, Mr. Washington began his career in heavy construction and diversified into many different areas, including mining and transportation. With a passion for philanthropy, he and his wife, Phyllis, created the Dennis and Phyllis Washington Foundation, which is dedicated to making an investment in people to improve the quality of their lives. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Dennis Washington.
Good afternoon. I was really impressed today. I visited here once, the last time I had a meeting like this. And I could see it was a big building, it was going to be a fine building. But when you start seeing the petitions, and you can see that it's something special. And I really think that we ought to all give a hand to all these wonderful people who went out of the way, who have seen what is going to be here, and I know they've all worked their ass off, and we ought to give them a big hand. This building is going to last for many, many years, and think of the thousands of people after we're all gone that will enjoy this building to study the history of this great state. And I remember after the last time the governor tipped on it here, but I went to your house and we were sitting there and talking about a wonderful facility this is going to be, and we both agreed that this place has to be something special, and the exhibits in the interior, everything has to be as good as the building's going to be. So I think it's probably going to be, who knows, the building may be second. But it was wonderful, and the governor, I can tell you, I've watched a lot of people, but he knows how to raise money. There's no question about it. But my wife and I are just very glad to be here and to see something here that so many lives are going to be affected with. And so I just hope that all of you get to enjoy it, and let's have a good look around. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Washington, both for your generous support and for your comments. And please join me in welcoming Governor Gianforte back to the podium now for a special announcement.
Thank you, Molly, and thank you, Dennis and Phyllis, for your extraordinary generosity. We have much to celebrate today, but would you believe me if I said there's more? As we preserve Montana's past, we're doing it with an eye to the future. Every Montana child should come to know our state's rich history. And when this world-class facility is completed, every Montana child should have an opportunity to visit it. And I'm proud today, working with the Historical Society, we have established an endowment campaign to make sure every Montana student can come here to learn Montana history. This is a $10 million campaign, and we will raise funds and we'll use the proceeds from the campaign to pay the money for the school buses and accommodations so that kids can come here and learn Montana history. This endowment, as I said, will cover travel and accommodation costs for all Montana students to come in the year that they study Montana history. That's typically 7th or 8th grade in Montana. Each year, forever. They'll learn about our state's history and how government works. They'll have lunch in the cafe. They'll tour the Capitol. They'll go over to Last Chance Gulch, and it'll be a real-world experience for them. They'll make connections between what they learn in the classroom and the real world. And through what they learn, they will be encouraged to be better stewards going into the future. Last year, the Historical Society ran a pilot program that offered $500 to schools farther than 50 miles from Helena to underwrite their travel expenses to come here and visit. Many schools that participated in the program said that they would have been unable to come to Helena without this subsidy. And one teacher said, and I quote, "I work with many at-risk students, and this was the first time any of the students had been on a high school trip. They loved it," end quote. We want to provide that opportunity to kids from Highwood to Sydney to Saco to Billings and every city in between. And we're helping make this possible. And some of you have already helped us get off to a good start. And I want to thank those who have already generously donated. Jill and Lauren Bow, Karen Barkley Fagg and Russ Fagg, James and Paula Finn, David Gibson and Three Rivers Communication, Dennis and Phil Washington stepped up again, thank you. The Kennellys and the Town Pump Foundation, Bruce and Pam Mihelish, Terry Payne, and Frank Slootman have already contributed to this scholarship fund. So can we give them a round of applause? I have a second big reveal. So through their generous support, we've already raised $2 million. Only 8 to go. Please, if you care about Montana's history and our kids, I would encourage you to consider a contribution at any level. And I will point out, you may have to talk to your accountant, but gifts to the endowment do qualify for the Montana Endowment Gift Tax Credit. So that might encourage you even more. Our goal is to launch this project in 2026. That'll be the 250th anniversary of our nation's founding, and it seems appropriate that we do it then. Folks, we have so much to look forward to. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you for every single one who has given to this cause or is considering it. We just appreciate that you're here with us. And I'll turn it back over to Molly.
Thank you, Governor. We at the Montana Historical Society are thrilled to be working with Governor Gianforte to make the Montana History and Civics Education Endowment a reality. The impact of hands-on learning experiences for students is considerable. From higher grades to higher graduation rates, students who are able to participate in field trips benefit in so many ways. We are excited to work with donors and supporters like you to make this endowment a reality, so that we can welcome Montana's next generation to delve into our past to create a better future. So even as we shift from our focus to bringing Montana's students to the Heritage Center in the Capitol, construction work does continue here. So watch for our project to be completed in the late summer of 2025, with a grand opening celebration at that time that we hope you will all attend. In the meantime, we'll be busy constructing the building, fabricating and installing these fabulous exhibits, and moving our collections into their new storage areas. But creating a space as meaningful and important as the Montana Heritage Center takes a team. So I want to extend thanks to our project partners, including the Montana Architecture and Engineering Division, Cushing Terrell Architects and Engineers, especially to Sletton Construction, to Redstone Project Development, Main Street Design, Cinnabar, and Richard Lewis Media Group, who are all working so hard with us to make the Montana Heritage Center a reality. I especially want to thank, however, every single member of the Montana Historical Society team for their dedication to this project. Their hard work, vision, and expertise is unmatched and will ensure that the Heritage Center is indeed exceptional. Our gratitude is also due to our more than 1,000 donors, many of whom, of course, are with us today, and others of whom are listed over here. Our donors include individuals, foundations, and businesses from around the Treasure State that believe in this project. Your support illustrates the significance of the Montana Heritage Center to all Montanans. I would also like to recognize current and former members of the Montana Historical Society's Board of Trustees who have joined us today, as well as members of our tribal stakeholders group who have spent countless hours assisting with the design and interpretation of the Heritage Center. Finally, I thank all of you for joining us this afternoon for the celebration of this milestone in the journey to the Montana Heritage Center. So at this time, I invite you to explore the public spaces of the addition. Historical Society staff and members of the Sletton construction team are stationed throughout the area and are available to share information about the Heritage Center. If you're interested in learning more about the Montana History and Civics Education Endowment, how field trips impact student learning, and how you can support the endowment, please visit with Historical Society staff at our information table just in the back there. You are also invited to make your way to the Capitol Rotunda at 5:30 for a reception hosted by Governor Gianforte, with drinks and heavy hors d'oeuvres, as well as illuminating conversation. So thank you all for joining us this afternoon to mark this occasion.